So Amber and Tad, thanks for joining me. And by my watch, I've got a minute or so before we start. And I've started the recording just because if I didn't do that, I'd forget to do it. And then they'd be all upset at me. So perfect. So I'm going to wait probably another minute or so because I don't think that our session is going to take all of half an hour, but depends on how many questions you have. But I just want to say welcome. Glad you're here. I'll probably repeat this again, but if you have not already applied or been automatically put into an opportunity to win a tuition, I think it's a $5,000 tuition voucher, then I will ensure that at the end I leave open the slide that tells you how that can happen. Okay, so I hopefully I'll remember. If I don't, please let me know. So great. So I will give it about a minute and then we'll get started. It's nice to have a small intimate group. Great. It's amazing, this way of communicating with folks, especially for those of us who have our faces on the screen. It's very wild because it's hard to get a sense of people, being there. So happy to have you. Don't feel you need to put your screen up because it is being recorded. So it's kind of up to you. But it's a very, very different type of system. In fact, if you were in my class, because I do teach in the second year of the program, I'd be going, Amber, please, be aware that the recording is on. So, so generally folks are quite reluctant to put their screens on, which I understand. So, and it enables us to come with a bad hair day and nobody really cares. So it's great. Okay, well, you know what? It is time. So I'm going to get started. So I want to say thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate this opportunity to share with you our program. And just to talk a little bit more about the criminal and social justice program. So let's see. Okay, I think I have to move this in order to see that's it. So what we're going to do today is I want to hopefully tell you everything you want to know in a brief nutshell. So we'll do a quick introduction. I want to do a sneak preview of the program, telling you a little bit about what you might study. Going to talk about transferability of the program, courses within the program. We're going to talk about some practical considerations. And I'm going to have some time for questions. So what I will probably do, there aren't that many of you, but what I probably will do is if a question occurs to you, put it in the chat. And what we'll do is I'll go back. I'm not great with the chat, but I'll go back and try and answer things in the chat, or just write it down. And I'm sure that we're going to have plenty of time to answer questions at the end. So don't worry about that. Okay, so all right, so just a little bit about myself. I do have a law degree and an English degree. I've been teaching in the program since the fall of 2007. And we began that program with 13 students. So I teach in the second year. So it actually started just about a year before I joined the program, but then myself and Yarko Halava and many of us who were in the program started kind of in the second year. And as I say, we began with 13 students. Today, my second year class is over 50 students. So we've grown a lot since 2006. I guess 2000, fall of 2000, maybe it's 2007. And in fact, we had over 160 students taking Crim 111 this year. And part of that is because those courses were accessible to more students than usual. And but it just shows the interest in taking some courses in the Crim program. I really enjoy teaching in the program because what I find, law is all around us and it affects us on a daily basis. And I like to challenge students to see the importance of law in our lives and to see the role that they might choose to play in helping to educate the public and to participate in challenging discussions. You know, we've got issues like medical assisted dying, we've got changes to our drug laws, we've got current responses to COVID-19 by the government. So law is all around us. And so I enjoy that opportunity to share that with students and to help them to think more critically about the law. All right, so enough about me. So the Criminal and Social Justice Program, it fits under the Arts and Foundational umbrella. It's a specialized arts diploma. And what it does is it provides a student with a wide variety of subject areas in their first year. And then they have the opportunity to specialize in your second year. So a first year student would take classes in quite a spectrum of social science subjects. So that can include criminology, sociology, psychology, political science, gender, sexuality, and women's studies. A student will also take an English class. But it introduces students to a wide variety of subjects. And so following this first year, then students get the opportunity to focus more on criminology in their second year. They'll have some more philosophy courses, some higher level psych or social classes. So we continue that, a little bit more narrow focus. And a significant portion of students move on to more general art studies in their second year. And that can be for a variety of reasons. They might find they think they like criminology, but then a political science course they take really excites them more, or the gender, sexuality, and women's studies course really lights a fire. And so they'll decide that, you know what, I think I'd like to maybe focus more in that direction. And they might say, well, you know what, I really want the opportunity to have a broader transfer option. And significantly, they may say, you know what, I'm not interested in going to Penticton for my second year, the campus in Penticton. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. So I asked my my fellow instructor, Yarko, who teaches primarily in the criminology courses. He says, I said, what kind of questions do our students take a look at? And so he gave me a list of questions. So in the program, what you might be encountering questions like, is violent crime a brain disorder? What are youth gangs like? Why does the US have such a high homicide rate, or, crime tending to concentrate different parts of the cities? And talk about cybercrime. A particular interest of Yarko's and his wife, who also teaches in our program, is psychopathy a mental disorder? And, they might talk about copycat crimes, or the best and worst way to prevent youth crime. In my class specifically, and I teach two courses, one's called Canadian Law and Legal Institutions, and the other is called Criminal Law. So we start with the Canadian law course, and we move, and within that, we'll do a chapter on criminal law. And then the second term is completely about criminal law. And so some of the questions that we look at, we might look at trial judges, talking about jury trials versus judge alone trials. we'll talk about, hey, how do we balance? We have a Charter of Rights and Freedom. So how do we balance that right to free speech, which is a protected right, with the equality rights of others and the need to protect vulnerable groups from hate speech? How does the law do this? Is that it? Do they do it well? What's the difference between the crime of assault and the tort of battery? What's the difference between those two? You know, why do we choose to go to courts to decide issues like should a 6-year-old go to school or stay home during the COVID-19 times? A case that, happened in Ontario this fall. Very real today type of issues. Why do we go to the courts, and is that a good thing? And this pops up every once in a while. It tends to be a popular thing. Why should someone be found not criminally responsible for a murder because they have a mental disorder? Why do we deal differently with folks who have psychological disorders? And, if I want to protect my property, can I have a killer dog? Or, what would happen if I used lethal force to defend my property? So these are some of the questions that we would be discussing in the program, particularly in my classes in the second part of the program. Now, very important issue for you, of course, is, and a question you should be asking, can I transfer to a university following your 2-year diploma? And that's a great question. It's an important question. So, in general, courses within the program are university transferable. The program has been developed and designed to most efficiently transfer to Simon Fraser's Bachelor of Arts with a major in criminology. So Simon Fraser has one of the most well-known programs in the country. Some of its professors are Dr. Neil Boyd and Simon Verdun Jones, some of the very prominent voices in criminology. And so, it was designed initially to flow into that program and does a good job. Many of our students have gone on to Simon Fraser. We do have a block transfer, which means that with Royal Roads University, that means Royal Roads just takes our courses and says, yeah, here you go. You get a block transfer of 20 courses. Many students choose to head off to UBCO because it's very popular. It's in the Valley. And they choose to go off to other universities. We've had students go head off to study at the Justice Institute of BC, which trains police officers and emergency personnel. So with the exception of Royal Roads, our program's not a block transfer, which means that courses transfer to schools on a course-by-course basis. And so that means that a student who is coming into our program should be aware of how the course is transferred. And you can use something called the BC Transfer Guide to take a look at it. That's very important because depending on what you want to do, you may want to choose to do many courses within the diploma, but pursue an Associate of Arts program. So as I say, the Criminal and Social Justice Diploma, great diploma, but it's specialized under the Associate of Arts. And so as you're thinking about transferability, you really should talk to an education advisor in your first year of the program. Like I also wear a second hat. I'm an ed advisor for the program. And so I really, really appreciate it when students chat with me early, because within our program, you only have 2 free electives. And so what I often discuss with students is the importance of choosing efficient electives. You can take whatever electives you want. They'll be fine for the program. But often it's a good idea to think about, if I'm going to transfer, where do I want to transfer, and think about that kind of transfer option. Our alumni, so students who've taken the program, have gone on to study law. They've gone on to get their Bachelor of Social Work, Masters of Social Work. We've got clinical counselors. We've got folks who work in youth and adult probation. We've got folks who've worked with BC Corrections, and we've got folks who've gone on to become RCMP officers. So probably about, I would say historically, and I don't know whether that's changed lately, but historically about 50% of the students in the program have been primarily interested in going on to some sort of enforcement work, either as a city police officer or as with the RCMP. So that's a popular transfer, but as I say, many students have gone on to complete their degree, go on to study, they want to join CSIS, or they want to become involved in many aspects of criminology. So, practical considerations. Okay. What I want to make sure that everybody who takes this program knows about is that all criminology courses, with the exception of Crim 111 and 121, are taught only at the Penticton campus. So students who end up wanting to complete the program should be prepared to attend, at the moment it's virtually, but attend Penticton campus in the second year of their program. Okay. So sometimes that's a game changer for students, and they'll choose to do, as I say, the first part of the year, as I noted earlier, first part of the program, and then they will go on to study elsewhere for their second year or another program. As I said earlier, students should consider meeting with an ed advisor prior to beginning the program, again, because of only the couple of the electives. And ideally, electives are chosen with your eventual university program in mind, or perhaps going to Royal Roads or the JIBC. And if you know the program or the school that you want to go to after, that can be very helpful as we help you navigate the waters of coming to the college. The CSJ program is a very popular program, and we have more and more students wanting to take the program. I think it's an excellent program, especially if you're interested in criminology. I particularly like the fact that in the first year you get such a broad exposure to different programs or different course subjects. And you know what? If you make a decision that criminology is not for you, it's very easy to move into other areas. Okay, so I think that's it. So questions. I'm going to go here to a question here. So Kevin says, I'd like to ask if you're looking for a generic law. I want to understand what type of law there are and how to get more knowledge that would be combined with the criminal and social justice law. Yeah, I think maybe, is it the social justice that is coming into play there? Like the difference between generic law versus social justice law? Is that your thoughts, Kevin?
That's a great question. Thank you very much for answering that. As a matter of fact, with what's going on in the world today, I find that just looking at one aspect of law, not just for criminal justice or social law, but I want to do humanitarian law. I want to do like combined everything just to see what type of law is best for me to be in foot with. I mean, I have been dealing with and hearing a lot of the negativity towards the criminal side, but as well, I just want to understand, to pick an area of expertise is very narrow. I want to understand the different various from diverse cultures to politically why criminal justice laws and social laws are all the same. So is there a type of first year spectrum where it teaches you the different type of analysis of the different type of laws that can come into play? if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it does. And if I don't answer your question correctly, and thanks for coming on to expand on it, then let me know. I guess one of the things that you should be aware of is that the CSJ program is your very beginning into exposure to this world of criminology and law. So what's important is that, you know, in your first year, and even into your second year, I mean, what are you doing? You're looking at political science. You're going to get some philosophy. You're going to get some gender, sexuality, and women's studies. You're going to get psychology and sociology. You're going to be exposed to many, many different types of subject areas which deal with the human experience. And the criminology is just, it's the beginning. And you'll do a little bit more focus in your second year. I think that you look at criminology in a broader aspect. Law, I mean, I'm the one who teaches more of the law per se. I mean, you meet the law in many of your other courses, and you will definitely meet the criticisms, the critiques, I guess, not just criticisms, but the critiques of law and of the criminal justice system and how it and when I say criminal justice system, I mean it's the criminal justice system, but there's a lot going on there that things like sociology, psychology, gender studies all kind of impact. And really, in terms of where you want to work in, the first year is very broad. The second year narrows down a bit. I mean, as I say, I spend a lot of time on criminal law, but not really in my second term class, but not in my first term class. And that again is the beginning. I mean, the reason that those courses are there is because of the need to transfer to a program like the one at Simon Fraser, where you will then expand more and more in your knowledge of criminology. And I mean, even in law school, and this is, I'll talk to students in law school, you spend your first year just talking about hard, you know, property law, contract law, criminal law, constitutional law. It's not till you go broader in your second and third year that you expand. But let me tell you, the courses that you take within your program, both criminology related and non-criminology related, can help you kind of expand and get a sense of kind of the whole area of law, the whole area of humanitarian justice, the whole area of social justice. Did that
Thanks for
help?
it does in a way, but it doesn't in a way because um I mean I apologize, but I'm not from BC area. I'm actually from Ontario, just recently got moved here to
Yep.
BC for work.
Yep.
But I have a passion for law in the first place. But um I just want to understand, because of the political statements that a lot of people are coming out, especially south of the border, um, like with our changes, and I'm not sure if there's a lot of things that happened in the West Coast versus the East Coast, but there's been a lot of neglect and abuse from the police officers' criminal side, where they, as far as what I was advised of, that the police officers, so criminal side, I'm assuming, they only deal with threats. I want to try to understand why and how it can dramatically change in the 21st, 22nd century, um, because of what's going on globally with the pandemic, and how the old law doesn't really affect the new current lifestyle. Like that's what I want to learn, and I guess it's more like politics, but it's not politics. I don't know if that makes sense as well.
Yeah, well, I guess that's part of this. That's part of this journey, Kevin. If you get started in the criminal and social justice program, the criminology courses that you may take in your first year may, along with the other courses, may help you decide it's not really criminology I need to study. I really need to study more sociology, a different area, political science. Um, any of these areas begin with base courses. And when you
Right.
get into base courses like sociology 111, 121, psychology 111, 121, criminology 111, 121, you're getting a foundation. And it's that foundation that helps you leap off into other particular areas. So um, I I think what's going to happen is you're going to explore um, you're going to explore those areas, and you'll see what happens. Okay.
I see. Great. Thanks. Now, when you're
Okay,
saying
Kevin. Sorry,
Penticton,
Kevin.
I just want to ask the Penticton campus. You mentioned that there's on the second year you need to go to Penticton campus.
Yes.
Is that still like locally within the Kelowna or the Okanagan area, or is that somewhere else along the region?
Okay, perfect. Well, Karina has also asked the question. Um, the Whether you're studying at the Penticton campus or any other campus, the full array of the first year courses are available. If And what's happened is that with the expansion of Crim 111, 121, if you're in Kelowna or South, so Kelowna or South, you would probably come to Penticton for one evening a week. If you are in sort of the Vernon and North, we have the opportunity through our Vernon campus for students to be able to um, either in person or attend virtually Crim 111, 121. So for the first year, it's available everywhere. For the second year, if you're living, like we've had students from Vernon take the program, but it's meant that, I have heard of students, I had 2 students last year who commuted. It's not something I'd recommend. More often than not, students will live in Penticton if they're from further north than Kelowna, and during the week, and then they'll go home. The courses tend to be Monday to Thursday, so they go home for the full weekend. What has happened is many students they pool. So they share with other drivers, and so you get people pooling and coming down via, just drive down. I mean, it's not that far, though it can feel like it's far in the wintertime when the weather's not so great.
So my next question is a two-part question, and sorry about this, guys,
Okay.
but if you are going to be in virtual world, what you described that because right now we're all in a pandemic, I'm not sure if the campuses are open. Is there a time frame that if the second year courses will be pushed out far to be in person in class, would there be still an option to do virtually?
Uh, I Once we get back to in-class courses, my guess is that they will be in class. I don't think that they will be. Well, you know what? I mean, I guess I really shouldn't comment on it because I don't know. I mean, the pandemic has changed everything, so I just don't know.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because I'm living near the airport, and I think that's more near Fernan than it would be where I don't even know where Penticton is, but that will be the second question. If we had the option, can we go to the Vernon campus versus the Penticton?
Well, okay. So things got shuffled on us this year because we had to. Sorry, Kevin. While we do this, I'm going to get this to roll so that people have. Let's see. The tuition giveaway. I just want to have that up. We didn't get a chance to. This would have been the first year that we would have had the opportunity for students to attend virtually in Vernon or attend Vernon. So that's sort of in process. I'm not sure. Like what's happened is with the pandemic, everybody's been able to take the courses, which put a great strain on Crim 111, 121. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be something that, will probably depend on where you choose to attend. If you choose to attend in Vernon, then you'd have the access to Vernon. If you choose to attend in Kelowna, then you may end up carpooling one night a week, because it's just one night a week to Penticton for the criminology courses. And if they're online, then will be the way it is this year. Okay, so
Perfect.
thanks
Thank you
to
so
everybody.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kevin. Amber, Kevin, Tad, thank you very much. I don't know if anybody else is on. Karina's on. Perfect. So thank you, everybody. Karina, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, we have the full gamut is available in Penticton. There are some electives that aren't available in Penticton that you would take in Kelowna, but those can be done. So anyway, so I want to thank everybody. I can see that my time is running out. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Please, if you have any questions at all, you can give me a shout. It's jmott, so JMOTT at okanagan.bc.ca. So JMOTT at okanagan.bc.ca. So thank you for showing up, and hope to see you in class. Take care. Bye, everybody.